Hey y'all, it's Miss Kovac. I wanted to hop on and give you guys some quick tips for independent workstation ideas. First, I want to mention that independent work are things that they should be doing completely on their own as they've mastered it. Now, for my new friends, in your blue folders are things that they've never seen before. And so on Mondays, we're working together on teaching them these things until they've mastered it. Once they have mastered it, we'll keep it in there and then they can start doing this by themselves. But for now, we're just going to keep teaching and practicing. We can make sure we have some things set up in our area to support them, but for now, they're going to still need our help. For my other friends who've been with me last year or beyond, everything in their blue folder are things that I have noted that they've mastered. So at school, they've been doing it completely on their own. And so we want to keep up with that and maintain that progress level, which is why I'm sending some of those things home. Some seem really simple and some might be a little bit challenging, but all of them are things that they can do completely independently. So you should not need to help as the parent. I did upload a video of Miss Duckett modeling some of the things that we do in the classroom with her child. And I did a voiceover to describe why she's doing each of these things. And so we decided if we could send that to you, that would be especially helpful so that you could watch what we normally do in the class and maybe try to implement that at home. My quick tips, well, first, I do want to mention that our model is based strategically on the TEACH model, which is TEACCH, and you can look it up. It's based out of UNC Chapel Hill in North Carolina, and it's a model that a lot of special educators have been trained on, like myself, to educate and teach children with autism or have special or developmental delays that they need some more support. However, it's especially helpful for preschoolers, and that's because this model focuses on self-help skills, independence skills, and daily living skills to help our children to be successful. And for littles, they tend to depend on us a lot because they're still learning how to be independent. And so this is especially helpful for your child, regardless of ability, to help them transition across grade levels, but especially just to become independent and do some things on their own. And it's going to take a little bit of a load off of you. So the tips I'm going to bring you first are maybe the area to have set up for this. So at school, we have a desk and a chair, but I understand we're doing remote learning from home and that might not be feasible. But I would try to avoid a bed or a couch or the floor because this can be distracting and a little bit difficult for this model. But if you have a desk at home, great. Or if you have a dining room table or a countertop where they can sit at, those are perfect places. You'll also notice in the video that they move left to right, and that is because we're teaching our children to read from left to right, and so we want to practice getting them in that habit is going this way. So we at school have a little cubby where they collect their work and they place it on their own in front of them and then they move it to their right. So that does not mean that you have to have a whole table set up for their work with the pencil and everything ready. They should be able to do all of that on their own. So what I like to have is a cubby, or you could have a magazine tray or something that you set their work in. Then you put your child in their chair and scoot them up to the table. They should be able to pick up their work, place it in front of them, pull out the cards from the back of the folder on their own, and put them in the correct spot. And as a parent or a teacher, we should just be standing nearby and watching, providing minimal help so that they're doing it on their own. And this is especially helpful for school when they're having to do some things on their own, as we have, more students at school. So I would stand a little bit back and watch. I know it's fun and helpful to be able to teach with your child or be there to support them. But the best thing that you can do here is to allow them to have some time to do this by themselves. So they'll pick it up from the left, set it down, pull out the picture cards on the back. It could be matching folder or a counting folder that your child has or a puzzle, and they're going to put them in the correct place. If they get it wrong, that's okay. Hold off for now. Just keep watching. Once they put them in the correct place, they will close the folder and put it in their right spot. At school, we have a basket that they can set these things in. So you can invest in a basket, or you can just have a little spot on the side where they can set it down. That's up to you, whatever is more feasible. But they pick it up from the left, sit it down in front of them, complete it, and put it to their right. When they're finished, that is when I typically check the work. At school, we have a finish card. I will send those home for those who might want to use that. And so when they put it in the basket and they're done, they can grab that finish card and hand it to me. And that will indicate, that's their way of being able to communicate, hey, Miss Kovac, I'm finished. And then I would collect their work. If you don't want to use the card, that's okay. We're going to send them home as supports. But once everything's in the basket to the right, you will open it and check it. So let's say that there is 6 matching cards and they got 2 incorrect. Then I will pull off those 2 that they got incorrect and hand it to them. And then they can self-correct. So it's not me saying, oh, look, this is a bear. Can you find the bear? I try not to help. I try to allow them to self-correct. After 2 chances of self-correction, if they're still not getting it, then I'll help and intervene. But the goal is to allow them a chance to self-correct. Sometimes they're not looking at the cards, or they're just doing it very quickly. Sometimes they miscount. That's okay. So what's best to do is to open it at the end, see which ones they got incorrect, and then give it to them, give them an opportunity to correct it. Then once they're finished, great job, and they'll put it back in the finished folder. At that point, or in the finished basket, at that point, I like to have 2 choices. And Miss Duckett has exactly what we have at home. We use crayon boxes, or you can use like Tupperware containers, but I will pour some Goldfish in one and like gummies in another, or Cheez-Its or Oreos, whatever you want to do at home. And I give them one single one, and that's so that they're not having to have a whole snack every time they complete something. And they all work for one thing. They're excited to get a gummy, especially if it's 9 a.m. And so you don't have to give them a whole pack of something, and that'll actually be a little bit more cost effective for you. So you can have a Tupperware container full of Goldfish and a Tupperware container full of candy, whatever your choices are. You could do cookies, or you could do Cheez-Its. And something, of course, of their preference. And I try to give them 2 choices. You did a great job working and you got them all correct. Would you like a Goldfish or a gummy? Or would you like a Cheez-It or an Oreo? And then you can open it and hand them one. And some of you might have to hide these reinforcers. I've had to do it too, where I put it a little high where they can't access them on their own. And every time for work, we pull out those reinforcers and set them nearby. Okay, work first, then you can have a little treat for it. And then they get to pick the treat of their choice. And so it's a little bit more motivating, and you don't have to buy a bunch of snacks all week just for completing one activity, especially if it only takes 5 minutes. And so those are just some ideas for you, and then they're finished. I like to do 1 to 2 activities, and so you all have a blue folder full of enough activities for 1 a day, but you can always rotate them, switch them up, and give them out there again. So if you want to do some repetition, on Monday you pulled one out and you want to pull it out again on Thursday, that's totally fine. It's good practice. But when you put it in there, they should be able to pick it up and put it on their front, pull everything out on their own. This is supposed to be a break on you. All your job is to monitor, make sure that they're completing it. Sometimes they might forget like which side they need to put it in, so that's when you can kind of point. You don't have to say anything, but you can just point so that they know where it goes. If they're still not getting the pointing, all right, set it down right here, or you can help them set it down. But it should take minimal help from you. Independent work is to help them just to do some things on their own, and it shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes to complete whatever you provide them. If you have a child who is not wanting to do it, they're fussing, they're yelling, that's when I will remind them, all right, here's a Goldfish and here's a gummy. If you want one of these, we're going to need to finish first. And sometimes that's enough to get them going. If not, we do hand over hand. So sometimes it's not a matter of them not being able to do it. It's just that they don't want to do it. And so with that, I will hand over hand. All right, we're going to stick it on But if you have to have hand over hand with me, we don't get to get a little reward because you weren't doing it on your own. So those are some things that you can consider at home of how do I reinforce them for doing the right thing, or what if they are fussing the whole time and I don't want to give them a treat because they weren't listening to me. Those are some things of choices that kind of get tricky at home, but I'm here to support you and help you with that behavior or figuring out the right work for them. For some of you who are brand new, this work is not something that they've completely mastered yet. So you can't expect to walk away and let them do it. You're going to have to help for those ones still. But everybody who's been with me, those are things that I even have some videos on my phone of them doing in the classroom for this reason, so I can show you their progress. So if you want a video of your child working, let me know and I can send one. And for those of you who are new, we're going to keep working together teaching your child. But having a left to right system and a table, that's a great start for all of you. So those are just some ideas. I hope that they're helpful, and I hope that the video is helpful to model it. And if you want to increase their rewards or decrease them, that is your choice as a parent. But I will model that of what we're doing in the classroom. And if you guys need some modeling of behaviors, I can get a child and work with them on what these behaviors look like, work with you through the phone, and I'll get one of modeling that so that you can watch me handle that. I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that Independent Workstations go successfully for you at home. But if you need anything, of course, feel free comfortable reaching out. Talk to you later.